I want to say maybe a couple of weeks or so ago, it was a video showing you guys some tiny homes that were for sale, one in Indiana and also one in Alabama. And I had a commenter I had someone who left a comment, and apparently they're from the greater DC area, and they were asking me if there were tiny homes for sale in their community. Now, this individual did not go into detail on what part of the greater DC area that they wanted to potentially purchase a tiny home in, and they did not go into detail on their budget. Now, on this video, I'm going to go off of the assumption that this individual is looking at purchasing a tiny home setup because A, like many people who look into buying a tiny home, many folks don't want to be too close to other people. Many folks prefer a quiet, relatively low-key community, and they prefer something that's affordable. Now, as many of you most likely know, affordable housing and greater DC don't go together at all. So the place that's closest to the DC area which I found some properties that I feel would be at least somewhat affordable, is located in Harpers Ferry, West Virginia, which is 68 miles from Washington, D.C. So here's a little bit of information about Harpers Ferry, West Virginia. Now, Harpers Ferry, West Virginia is a town with a population of 285 people. And the town is growing at a rate of 17.4% as of the 2020 census. The median income is $85,000 per year. The median home price is $295,000. The crime in the area, according to the data, is relatively low. And let's look at one more thing here. And I promise you guys, I will show you guys some pics. I just want to give you guys some basic information about Harpers Ferry, West Virginia, for those of you that are interested in moving to that area, or you're looking for an affordable area that's relatively close to the greater DC area, like this particular person in the comment section is looking for. Now, as far as it goes for politics, for those of you that want to be close to the DC area, like within an hour or so, and maybe you don't agree with the political environment of greater DC, for you folks, the good news is Harpers Ferry, West Virginia is a conservative community. It's a conservative town. So for those of you that are looking to live close to the greater DC area, but you may not necessarily want to live in a certain environment, and you may not want to live in a certain political environment, Harpers Ferry, West Virginia might be a good place for you to go check out if you have the money to move there. Now let's look at some property. Now, if you're looking to buy some land and maybe you're going to build your own house, I'm going to tell you guys right now, I have no idea what the building codes in Harpers Ferry, West Virginia are. I'm going to be honest. I have no idea whatsoever. However, let's assume that you buy some land and the building codes there are relatively laxed. So with that assumption, I mean, here's some land. I mean, the lot size is not that big. It's only 6,534 square feet, and they're asking $8,000, and they've already came down $2,000. So let's see what they're talking about here. And they only, okay, there's not too many pictures here. It's only 2 pics. I mean, clearly, I don't know. Clearly, this is going to be a waterfront property. I don't know how much actual land you're going to get. I have no idea. Let's keep on going. Let's look at some property details. Great recreational lot located in Riverview Park community. Has gated river access to the I can't read to the river. Looking for a weekend getaway. So if you buy, this is not going to be the type of land that you're going to want to purchase if you're looking to build a tiny home. So we're going to go back here. Okay, this ain't going to be the type of land. Now there's a whole bunch of other lots that are not that big. Like these lots are under 8,000 square feet. Now me personally, if I was wanting to build myself a tiny home somewhere or buy one and put it on a lot, I mean, in my humble opinion, this lot right here looks like the type of lot that would be more ideal for that type of setup. Okay, this lot is $45,000. You got 1.6 acres. Now $45,000, and you're only an hour or so from Washington D.C. I mean, for people that don't mind the commute, assuming that you work in D.C., this is not that bad of a price. Let's check it out. Okay, now if you buy this lot, okay, let's get this garbage off of here. If you buy this lot, clearly it comes with a creek, so you do have a water source. Now bear in mind, with many of these lots, if you buy the lot and you put a tiny home on it, or you put any kind of a structure on it, again, I do not know the codes. I do not know the building codes in Harpers Ferry, West Virginia. But even if their codes are laxed, bear in mind, you're at the bare minimum, you're going to still have to have a septic system on that property for sewage purposes. So bear in mind, if you buy raw land, you will have to spend some money putting in a septic system for your sewage. And if you want running water, you're going to have to also put in a well. So add those 2 things to your budget when you're looking into building a tiny home. Unless you buy a piece of land that already has some of those things done. Okay, here's the description. I'm just looking at it myself. I'm curious. Health department septic permit is for 1 bed, 1 bath. So if you buy this lot, you're gonna have to build a house. The house that you're gonna build is gonna most likely be smaller because the septic system on this lot is only permitted for a 1 bed and 1 bath home. So with that being said, whatever house you build on this lot will have to be under 1,000 square feet. And there's a creek that goes across the lot, so the flood factor is going to be extreme. So I'm pretty sure for all you builders out there that are skilled, you can figure out a way to build your tiny home on this lot to where if the river overflows, your home is not going to flood. But I would say this is, despite this being a flood zone area, due to this creek going across the property, you can most likely build your tiny home somewhere further out, away from the creek, and not have to worry so much about getting flooded. I mean, you got 1.6 acres, so you do got some room. Now you got this lot, which is a treated lot, which I'm not wasting my time on that one because by the time you pay the money to cut down all them trees, you might as well just buy. You might as well just pay the extra money and buy one that's cleared, that's already cleared off. Okay, this picture is poor. Yeah, I ain't wasting my time. This picture is poor quality. Alright, this lot it sits on 0.46 acres. Harper's Ferry. You know, let's see, let's keep on going here. Check out this one. Now for this lot, they're asking about 70 grand. Now this lot's been on the market for a while, and you guys can read the description. High-speed internet's available. Okay, let's keep on going here. The flood risk is minimal. Now, due to all the trees, the fire factor is moderate. But if you cut down some of those trees, you can reduce the fire risk. I mean, clearly this is going to be your treated lot. But if I was wanting to build a tiny home, a part of me rather spend the extra money and buy something like this, which is not in a flood zone, so that way I will not have to worry about my property flooding in the event of a heavy rainstorm, or in the event that you get a lot of snow, which in that part of West Virginia, it does snow. So let's see what we got here. Okay. just a bunch of sky views. Yeah, this ain't telling me nothing. Okay, basically it's a tree lot. So if you want to build yourself a tiny home on this lot, you'll have to cut down a few trees. Maybe you can take the wood off the trees that you cut and build your tiny home off of the wood that you. Maybe you can take the wood off the trees and use that to build your tiny home. Save yourself on a little bit of lumber. Alright, let's keep going. Okay. This is going to be the cheapest actual home in Harpers Ferry, West Virginia. Now, this home, it comes on a little over a half acre. You can read the description. This house will not go for financing, so if you buy this house, you're going to most likely have to pay cash. It's an as-is type of deal. The flood factor is minimal, which is good news. So most likely, this property will need some repairs. In fact, I'm just curious about something here. I wonder if this is a stick built or if it's a trailer. Let's see. Oh, and by the way, I'm on Realtor.com. So, just want to let you guys know I'm on Realtor.com. Okay, let's see what's going on here. Yeah, this looks like a stick-built house. Most likely it's going to need a little bit of work, which I'm assuming that's the reason why it's not going to qualify for traditional financing. Yeah, man, it's got a lot of pics here. I'm going a little fast because there's so many pictures here. So yeah, if you want to live not too far from the greater DC area, you know, you can go ahead and check out this property. They're asking 150 grand. Let's go back here. Let's give you guys an idea. Yeah, this is a regular stick-built home. Okay. Yeah, this house has been on the market for 108 days. So if anyone's interested in that house, you can probably get it for a fairly good price. Here's another house. Now this house is $10,000 more at 159,900, 160 grand. Now this house is 900 square feet and it comes on almost an acre lot. Now I did try to look for actual tiny homes in the greater DC area. I could not find them that were for sale. That's not to say that there's not anything out there for sale, tiny home wise. I just couldn't find none. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm not super familiar with the greater DC area, so I mean you gotta take that into consideration as well. So this house has been on the market for 4 days. Okay, built in 1975. Flood factor is minimal. Let's see if they got some information on this property. Okay, you can read the description. This house is another strictly sold as is house, as it will need a little bit of TLC. Okay, 3 bedroom, 2 bathroom ranch located in county. Finished basement with bathroom, large windows on main level. Provide exceptional natural light, tons of potential. Being sold strictly as is. Basement has flooded, but possibilities are endless with some TLC. So if you buy this house, watch out for black mold. Most likely this house is going to have a fair amount of black mold. So if you buy this house, go ahead and budget at least $15,000 for mold removal, because most likely this house is going to be loaded with black mold due to the basement flooding. In fact, if you want to buy this house, don't just hire a regular home inspector. In addition to hiring a regular home inspector, you're going to want to also hire a mold inspector. Whenever you see a property that's in a flood zone, or the seller has disclosed that the property had a flood at any point, anywhere, always hire a mold inspector along with a regular inspector. That way you get a healthy idea of how much mold that's in the house and how much it's going to cost you to remove all that mold. Now, if you only hire a regular inspector, yes, if they know what the hell they're doing, they will be able to detect mold, or at the minimum detect a significant amount of moisture. However, they're not going to tell you how much it's going to run to remove mold. Like right here, I'm assuming this is most likely the basement or the lower level. See, this is black. All this is black mold right here. You don't want to breathe that stuff because you will get real sick. Some people will die if they breathe that stuff for too long. So when you look at it, when you get this house inspected, make sure that you hire a mold inspector in conjunction to a regular inspector, because your mold inspector will give you a more accurate analysis of how much mold that's in the house and how much it's going to cost for you to remove all that mold, because mold removal is very expensive if it's done correctly. And see this? See, look at all that. All that is most likely black mold. This is where the house is flooded. See, you got more signs of water damage / mold. I mean, honestly, if you're wanting to buy a house, you would be better off. The other house I showed you a minute ago, to where they were asking 169,900, you would be better off buying that house as opposed to this one, because this house is garbage. Look at all the mold. Look at all that water damage. Or two, you would be better off even buying just a piece of land and putting your own septic system in it and building your own structure, as opposed to buying this house. Because this house is garbage. I mean, if you look at the picture, you can see. If you look real closely at the picture, you can see how this house sits. It sits below the hill, which is why it flooded the way it flooded. So if you see a house that sits below the hill like this, personally, I would just skip it. I don't care what the price is. I don't care where it's at. If it sits like this below the hill, I wouldn't even mess with it. But that's me. Alright, let's keep it going. Okay, now we're getting into the $200,000 range. Now this house, it's 968 square feet. It sits on 1.5 acres. And this is going to be, let's see. Yeah, this is going to be the last house I'm going to show. Now this house, well, this is just a lot. Yeah, I think this is just, they're only selling a lot. This is an actual house. Now given that Harpers Ferry is located so close to the DC area, houses, as you guys can see, are going to be a little more expensive. I mean, these prices that you guys are looking at are much higher than any other place in West Virginia, because typically in the state of West Virginia, housing prices are fairly low. But in this part of West Virginia, since it's close to the DC area, your housing prices are going to reflect it, as you guys can see. I don't want to make this video too long, so this is going to be the last house I'm going to show. Because after this, you get into close to $240,000. Which again, if you're wanting to live close to the DC area, that's not a bad price. (968 square feet). It sits on 1.5 acres. This house has been recently renovated and move-in ready. So whenever I see that a house has been recently renovated, to me, that means I need to take extra caution when buying that house. Because sometimes when a house has been recently renovated, the person or the people who did the renovation may have not done it right. Okay, minimal flood factor, good stuff. So yeah, whenever you look at an ad like this, recently renovated, that means take extra caution when buying that house. Make sure you have a seasoned and honest home inspector on your side to thoroughly inspect that property. That's what, recently renovated, that's what that means to me. Take extra caution. Because chances are, I would say the chances are going to be at least 50-50 that the renovations that this house has had done was at least some of it was most likely done incorrectly, using either the wrong type of material or poor quality material. Like sometimes with the recently renovated property, when it comes to, let's say, the electric, sometimes you got contractors that will use the wrong grade wire because either A, they wanted to save money, or B, they just don't know what the hell they're doing. So be cautious. Alright folks, I'm going to wrap this video up. I thank every one of you for tuning in to another episode of Andrew's Life. I hope you guys got something out of this video. If you want me to do a video of an area that you're interested in living, leave a comment below and I will make a video similar to this one of the area that you want to live in. Alright folks, everybody have a blessed one and I will see you on the next one.